Welcome to Baker Dave Presents. We're here once again in the kitchens of Morgan Hall on Temple University's campus. It's a working kitchen. There might be some noises, there might be some people that walk by. Today I have a very special guest. I have actually David Murphy. He does the weather, local weather on 6ABC. He's also a Temple alum, and he's come by to show us how to make cheesesteak omelets, coming right up. All right, welcome, David Murphy.
Thank you
This is
so
very
much.
exciting.
I'm excited, Chef Dave. This is great.
Well, you're a chef, right? You cook all the time.
Yeah, right. I just learned how to hard boil an egg about 2 months ago. So, and I ruined.
But you
three
did
of
it.
them. I did 3. I ruined, but the
How
second,
could you? What are they, green?
No, I tried dropping them in the boiled water instead.
Oh,
of just
that
putting
happens
in
all the
first
time.
and then put the thing in. You know,
I got to tell you a secret. Sometimes I break eggs too. I'm not.
really.
Oh, all the time, actually.
You're
I'm
just
not.
like a guy who wouldn't.
It seems that way, right? This is funny because like we're making an omelet today.
Yes.
I'm not like super awesome at omelets. I'm not gonna lie. This is not.
Look, you look the part.
But I look the part, which is what's important, right?
I don't,
Hopefully
so-
this all comes out okay.
Okay.
Between the both of us, we should be fine. We're
All
also
right.
we're gonna end up making some hot chocolate.
Oh,
I don't
that
know.
sounds good.
I always feel like when I do see you on TV in the morning,
Yeah.
they shove you out in the cold. I feel like
Yeah.
that guy could use a nice cup of hot chocolate.
I could.
You know what I mean? So
Look here, feel my fingers. I was out in the cold.
They're
for like,
pretty-
you know,
yeah,
they're
they're pretty cold,
So hot
yeah.
chocolate will be good.
so it'll be nice.
Yep.
So how long you been in the Philly area? Like you grew up here, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Drexel Hill. And,
Wow.
So my father worked for the old Philadelphia Bulletin, which is now defunct, but an old newspaper in
Okay.
town. So he was an editor and kind of a journalist sort of guy. So
That's how you got in the business,
that's
or you?
kind of what led
You're
to
like,
it.
"This is
sort
cool."
of, you know, yeah. So no, I grew up here. I was an actor for a while when I was younger. I did TV commercials and stuff.
Okay.
And lived in Los Angeles for like parts of.
And you're
4
like, this
years.
is so not Philly.
That-
I gotta
right.
get out of
I
here.
know. The only good thing about it was I didn't like the winter that much, but even after a while, you've spent 4 years out there and you want the winter again.
Right.
You know? So
Ironic that's probably your biggest thing now is reporting on our huge
I know, how
snowstorms,
about that?
and you don't even like the winter.
We're not so huge snowstorms. Yeah, I
Or
can't
not
wait
so
till the
huge
spring.
snowstorms,
But,
right.
Anyway, yeah. So I grew up here. Went to Temple University.
You went to Temple, right?
Yeah.
Did you got a degree in communications?
Yep. It was radio, television.
So you were on the other side of this. Was there a TU-TV back then? Was there like a TV station, or?
There.
Because I know they've been on and off a few times.
Yeah, WRTI was a radio station where students could actually do newscasts back then. So I did
Okay.
live news on the radio here. TV was more just on tape and for classes.
Right.
So I learned how to do my reporting, my news gathering, and
Oh,
my
that's
anchoring,
awesome.
all of that stuff started in the studios here. But there wasn't TU-TV. Actually, when that came along, I was a little jealous. I was like,
Why didn't I have this, right?
Yeah,
I was just
right.
gonna say, well, what has a lot changed? I mean, when you were at Temple, it looked a little different than it does now.
Yeah, there's a lot more buildings here now.
There
The
is a lot of
campus
buildings.
Has like sprawled in all directions a little more, but it was a pretty big school back then too. I like all of the development that's happened. I have to say, I did meet my wife in the basement of Weiss Hall on the way into a class in there.
Still here.
She and I were both students, and she's,
Awesome.
Yep. So, so I'm glad Weiss Hall's still here. However, the little park down the road where we went down and exchanged phone numbers for the first time has now been demolished, and there's a big building there. So I'm not happy
Oh,
about that.
sorry about that. Is that Tyler? I don't know where that
They're
park
all-
would be, but.
The thing that's up the street from, it's part of like the student center now.
Oh,
There used to be a
yeah.
little park that you walk down and there was not there.
The student center seems old now because it literally was built right as I got here 14, 15 years ago. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it was
so
called the
it's-
SAC back then, same location, and it was student activity.
they don't like you to
center.
call it that. They
Yeah,
like to
yeah,
call it's
sorry.
the student center
Sorry
because
about that.
I have the same problem. You're not alone in that. Cool. So why don't we start making some hot chocolate?
Okay, yeah.
I don't want to get you too messy, but
That's okay. I got an apron.
excellent. So have you ever made hot chocolate?
Not the way you're going to tell me to. I'm
No,
pretty
a
sure.
little packet and some water.
Yeah, that kind
Okay,
of
so
thing.
we're not going to do that. We're actually going to turn the heat on here.
Okay.
Awesome, it's
Hey, look
working.
at that, yeah.
We have milk in there. If you could just pour that into here.
The whole thing.
The
goes in.
whole thing. So
Okay.
I got 2 cups of half and half because I like it to be fatty. I hope you're not on a diet.
Not today.
Excellent.
Ready?
And I have 4 cups of.
Yep.
The quicker you dump it, the less likely it'll be to splash you.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Look at that. And 4 cups of milk.
Okay.
And then we simply have, you want to throw the vanilla, there's like a tablespoon of vanilla.
Vanilla,
and,
right.
And 2 tablespoons of sugar right behind that.
You wouldn't think it's dark, but it is. Watch this. Vanilla actually is
You can make vanilla.
Really?
Yeah, if you could literally go buy a couple of vanilla bean pods.
Right, yeah.
Because they're pretty expensive.
Okay.
So get 4 or 5 of those, split those down the center, and then just drop them in like a bottle of vodka or a bottle of some clear alcohol and let it sit in a dark closet for about 6 months.
Or I could buy a bottle of vanilla and then we're
Or you could buy a bottle of vanilla and just go that route. That's
sugar, right?
Right, 2 tablespoons of sugar. I just like, I like adding a little sugar because I feel like the dark chocolate, like the chocolate chips, aren't sweet enough for me.
Okay.
That's just me.
I'm going to make sure you get it all
I think
there.
the extra couple of granules would be fine.
Okay.
No, you don't put that in yet.
I don't put that in yet.
No, see, you got to
That
slow
was
down.
rushing.
I saw that. You're ready to get out of here, huh?
No, I'm
so,
ready
but while
to
this,
have this.
You're ready to have this, of course. Well, so while we're doing that, we could actually do other stuff. But
Okay.
why don't we talk a little more about you, like growing up here?
Okay. So I played street hockey in Delaware County. When I was
Oh,
a
nice.
kid.
Is that that's not like a that's just you hanging out with
Just me
friends
hanging out
on
with
the street,
friends.
right?
Yeah, that's right.
Stickball
Whenever
and
the cars would come and make us move our nets, we'd be like, "What do you think this is? A road?" You know, we were
Right.
smart days, and we played sandlot baseball.
You grew out of that though, right?
It's more or
Some
less.
of it.
Well, I know I have 3 kids who give it back to me, so it works out, you know. Oh, anyway.
One of them goes here, right?
Yeah, so Andrew actually is in this building. He's a freshman, communications major.
Did
so-
any of your other students go to Temple as well?
No, because despite the millions of things you can major in here, my son decided to do aerospace, which they didn't have here, and my daughter did zoo science, animal science, which they didn't have. So they went elsewhere, but I finally got a kid, my last
That wanted
kid.
to do.
Yes, and he's thrilled too. He really loves it here.
Yeah, I was gonna
But,
say he likes it so far. It's
yeah.
it's half a year at this point. I mean,
Yeah, he likes it a lot, and you know,
It's a fun campus.
Met a girl, so he's majoring. In
oh,
that,
look
I
at
guess.
that, majoring in girls, huh?
Anyway,
That didn't
yeah.
take long.
No, it didn't. I told him it took you about 5 minutes. So yeah, but anyway, she's a good kid, and they're having fun.
So well, that worked out.
And yeah, and then you know I graduated here and met my wife here, and we actually
What
had
about,
our wedding reception here too.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Mitten Hall?
Faculty club downstairs in the faculty club with that tulip garden outside.
Yeah, that's on Mitten Hall, right?
Mitten Hall's
yeah,
basement.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
In the basement part,
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
they've got the nice garden there. I
Yeah.
forget the name of the garden. I should know it
I
because we have events
should
there all the
too.
time. I doubt I did your wedding cake, but who knows?
It was a while ago, but
I haven't been there. Like I said, I've only been here about 14, 15 years.
Oh,
so
okay,
if it's
okay.
longer than that, I didn't for sure. But
yeah. Well, I've been here for years. So
a
it's
couple
little
years
bit
more than that, right?
a couple more.
You seem like you're pretty like about my age. You don't seem. Not that I'm asking.
a
I'm just
secret.
saying. Like, you don't seem. You seem about my age. You seem like someone I might have hung out with.
You're being complimentary, I think, because I bet you're younger than me. I'm 57.
Oh wow. No, I'm 44. So I am a little younger than you. I just look older, maybe. Maybe that's the thing. You
No,
look young and I look older, so maybe that's the key,
I got lucky with the metabolism, I think. It's good for TV, too.
right?
All right, so what do we got?
So I mean, we could start scrambling the eggs. We can't do much else till this heats up. I really thought it would
Okay.
heat up a lot quicker. I'm not
All
going to
right.
lie, or I would have put that on sooner.
We can scramble eggs if you want.
But we have a pan here for egg scrambling. How do you said you're good at cracking eggs?
Yeah, I'm too good at it as it
So
turns
perfect.
out.
You can crack a few eggs.
All right, so
You gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet?
my
So
trick is usually to get like a cup and go like that and do it. And,
you're
but I
afraid
can
of
try
getting
this.
shells? These eggs, these are special eggs.
It's not shells. It's
The-
just I'm afraid of getting like half the egg.
Who
down
cares?
there. You ready?
These eggs are what are they? Free range.
Good.
They're free range and they're pasteurized already.
No shell.
No shells. See, look at you.
good. We're
There
at
is a trash can right here.
Hey, there we go. Woo.
And we only need like 2 or 3. I don't know how many we're gonna actually use.
Okay.
Yeah, we like our eggs to.
See, that one's.
It's
I'm all
fine.
gooey. Yeah.
That's what that happens in kitchens.
Really. Next time I go to a restaurant, I'll.
Their kitchens are a mess. If you go back into a restaurant, there'll be food everywhere.
Swing and a miss. I got an apron. I could just like wipe it on that.
That's exactly what it's for. I just didn't. I thought you would figure that out, but
No.
you did though eventually.
I just learned how to hard-boiled eggs. Like
You did
2
say that.
months
Was there
ago,
anything
so-
else you've ever cooked that you're like?
I mean, my big claim to fame is my father's beer waffle recipe,
Why didn't we make that?
because it's too easy.
This is all easy. This
All
is
you do is you make waffles, let's say, the
Okay.
way you normally would. I just, Bisquick and all of that, only you substitute half the milk with beer.
And how does that taste? I feel like I want to have that now.
First of all, the whole kitchen and house just
Smells like beer?
yeast and beer, and it's just great. So the family is lured by this. And then the waffles come out really light and crispy, and you don't leave them on the waffle iron too long.
I was just going to say it makes sense for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go science on you a little bit. You're a meteorologist, so I mean,
Okay.
you're into science, right?
Yeah, okay. I don't know if
No?
I'm going to know this science, but go ahead.
No, but it makes sense. Like, I feel like in that way, our career paths aren't totally different. I feel like I feel like I don't feel like a chef. I feel like I'm a baker, so I feel more like I'm a science person than I am an artist, if that makes any sense.
Okay, yeah, sure.
But it totally makes sense, because what happens is when you add a carbonated beverage to a batter like that, it'll actually be part of the leavener.
Oh.
So the air will get trapped in it, so that's already a bonus. And then the yeast itself, a lot of times you'll get fancy waffles will actually be made with yeast.
Oh, no kidding.
So they'll actually make waffles with yeast as part of their leavener,
So my
and
dad
it
knew
gives
what he
that
was
flavor.
doing.
So that's kind of a great shortcut. I'm totally gonna steal that.
Good.
I have a few bottles in the fridge that I could do that maybe this weekend.
And also, like, if somebody brings you over beer and you don't really like it, it's a great way to get rid of the beer.
Right.
The final part of the recipe, by the way, is if you're just making one batch, you have half a beer left. So the last thing I always put in the recipe is
Drink
chef
the rest
drinks
of the beer?
Yeah, chef.
Well, yeah, you have to.
Chef drinks it, yeah.
Whoever it is that made it.
Right.
Yeah. You don't want the kids drinking the beer. Not yet.
No.
Although they're all getting to that age almost, right? I mean,
Most of them
you go out there and
are,
have a
yeah.
beer with your kids now. That's going to be weird. My
That's
daughter's
right.
16. I can't even imagine what that's going to be like.
Yeah, my youngest is 18. I got one 29. You got some catching up to do.
Yeah,
I got
apparently.
2 weddings coming up. One in April, my daughter, and then my son in September.
Holy cow.
Yeah, big
that's
year.
going to be a few dollars you're going to have to shell out.
Well, father of the bride, yeah. Father of the son, not so much.
Not so much. So you see, this is really cool.
Oh, yeah, cool.
It's going to start bubbling up.
Yeah.
That's because I added the extra fat, because having the half and half in there. Part of the reason I did that is because it'll actually protect the milk. You ever put milk on by itself and sometimes it burns?
Yeah.
This will add the extra fat will keep that from happening, because the bubbles will actually stick to each other instead of sticking to the bottom of the pan.
I had
So
no idea.
we're actually good with that now. And
Okay.
the key is you turn it off.
Okay.
And then you take it off the pan.
Okay.
Switch the eggs back over here.
Yeah,
'cause-
sure.
And then you literally just whisk in your chocolate.
Ooh, nice.
Again, this is, have you ever, if I'm saying if you have you ever made this, but clearly you probably haven't. But like chocolate truffles,
Clearly not,
you've
but
eaten
yes.
them though, right?
I guess.
So the filling in those are,
Yeah.
it's called ganache. Basically, you're making a thin ganache, and that
Okay.
ends up being your,
Well, I like those chocolate chips going in. That really looks good.
and it's 12 ounces of chocolate chips, which is exactly like a bag, which is why I did that. I thought that would be a perfect
Good.
recipe to make for, family on the weekend or whatever, or when you're out and doing the weather and you're like, crap, I'd go for some hot chocolate.
I was a reporter for years, and now I'm thinking I should have done more stories on chefs and food. This would have been fun.
It's not too late, right?
Do you know what? I'll tell you a funny story about somebody at Action News. You know Tam Edwards, the lady who anchors with me in the morning? She's one of the
Yeah.
news anchors. She was out doing a story with a dessert chef who made all these great desserts.
Uh-huh.
And she hung out after the shoot was done and had desserts with this guy. And now she's married and has 2 kids. And
We're not getting married.
No.
Like, we're good. I mean, I appreciate that you're doing the
Well,
story
we're
with
married,
me and
that's
all, but
okay.
I'm also already married.
One marriage guy.
I didn't know where this was going.
Nope, that's okay. we figured that out. But anyway, so
That's awesome.
Food and desserts and chocolate.
I actually,
in good places.
I watched her before I ever probably saw you, even
wow.
though, because I would work, like I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, right.
And she used to be on the overnight
Yes, she was.
at like the main station out in New
ABC,
York or whatever
yeah,
it was.
the network,
The
yeah.
network one. And there's no news on it.
Nope.
3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. So
Right.
I would watch that before I went to work
That's
to
funny,
see how it
'cause
was going.
First time I ever saw her was the same way. I'd be getting my stuff together and she'd be on the TV there. So
I was
it's
like,
kinda
she's
cool.
great. She should be doing so much more than this. And then like all of a sudden she disappeared and I was so upset.
Yeah, but
And about 6 months later, I found out she'd already been in town doing news, and I just hadn't seen it because it's not at my time frame.
Yeah.
I'm actually just going to set this aside right now. It's done. Like that's
Okay.
how simple that is.
looks
Like
really good and that
maybe
was easy. Yeah.
maybe you don't need to open the package next time, right?
Maybe not, because that was pretty easy, and there's usually chocolate chips around the cabinet over next to the fridge.
That's how I feel about it. So I'm going to put this back on.
Okay.
So I thought the idea of like an omelet just seemed boring to me.
Okay.
So I thought let's go a little bit further than an omelet.
Okay.
And let's actually make a cheesesteak omelet because I felt like it's a little homage to
My
Philly,
roots
right?
and
Your Philly roots and the
temple
breakfast
and
because you work
everything.
morning shifts and
Right.
you got your warmed up with your hot chocolate.
This is good. I'll tell you what, I usually do eat a little bit during the show. I ate less because I knew this was going to happen.
Uh-oh.
today. So,
It better be good, right?
I'm pretty sure it will be.
I hope
Again,
so.
You look the part. I think the food is going to wind
Is
up.
that
the
the
part.
important part is you look it, right? You don't actually have to be.
No. that's the whole deal with TV. You just look the part.
And you're going to tell everybody it's delicious, even if it's not, right?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be delicious anyway, but it's looking pretty good to me.
So my thought process with this, and again, I don't make this. I've actually never made this. I just thought it would work. And,
okay.
But you're going to get the fat from the meat, right? So I
Right.
didn't have to spray the pan or do anything.
Yeah.
So we're just going to add the peppers and onions in while we do the meat. I'm hoping that they'll cook as well at about the same time.
Okay, you're the boss.
I'm hoping.
Little onion in there, which is
Little
good for
onion.
you. Yeah, great. I always have my cheesesteaks with onions.
And what cheese do you use for your cheesesteaks?
I kind of like provolone on most of my sandwiches, but when you're at one of those real places, like, on South Street, I feel dumb ordering anything other than a whip, so I usually just do a whip. Because I'm embarrassed otherwise.
Cheese whiz?
At the ballpark, I usually...
I seriously thought about, I'm like, should I pull the whiz out? Like, I'm not sure if I should pull that out for this or if I should pretend like it's fancier than that.
No, what do you got, American?
Yeah, and
American's fine.
I went American because I did think originally, I was like, maybe we could use provolone. They got some sharp provolone back there, and that would be good.
Yep.
But I think when you go to eat an omelet, especially the cheese, like provolone would string more, I think.
Okay.
It wouldn't really give you the same, like this I'm hoping is going to give us a nice creamy effect. That's what I'm hoping anyways. I'm not 100% sure though.
How'd you get into this, by the way, your cheffery? Is cheffery a word?
I don't.
Chefing?
It is now. We now have cheffery.
Or is he chefable?
That sounds like you're selling me now.
Chef fantastic. So anyway, so how did you just like, you woke up when you were a kid and said, yeah, food's cool, and you went for it?
Well, and it's funny you're asking next. I was actually going to ask you if that was what you did with your thing, but we didn't get that far.
We'll get
there in a minute. No, I totally did not. Like, I actually got into baking because my grandmother baked, and I loved baking with her, and I thought that was fantastic.
Right.
I'm not a desk job person. I can't imagine sitting at a desk. My dad worked for the IRS, so he was always at a desk, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't even know what my dad does, but I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, the idea of sitting at a desk sounded horrible to me. So I tried to get the rock band thing going, but it didn't really work.
I'm laughing for a reason you'll know in a minute. Go ahead.
So when the band fell apart, that was my fallback. My parents were like, okay, you can take 1 year off, try to get the band going and see if you can do something with that. Because we actually were talking to some people at a record company at that point. Like, we actually had made it a few steps where it seemed like we were going to do something.
What was the name of the band?
It was, I grew up in Ohio, so the name of my band was Prodigy, and it was before the other band Prodigy, so
well, good.
I didn't steal their name. I don't know that they stole ours, because I don't know they knew who we were, but it was before that. But yeah, everything fell apart at the same time. The lead singer and bass player were dating, and
that's always a problem. Yeah,
like Yoko Ono right, exactly.
Never good.
That didn't work out. The guy that was working on our project, he got caught embezzling money, so they fired him and scrapped everything he was working on.
Wow.
Like, it was just, this is where I was meant to be. Clearly, I wasn't meant to be a guitar player, which is cool, but it was fun. And then my fallback was, I'll go to culinary school. So I went to the culinary school, signed up as culinary, like I was going to be a chef. I'm going to work with meat and do all this kind of weird stuff.
Right.
And I didn't like it at all. Do you want to try this? This is fun.
This looks great, by the way. Oh, like that? Ooh.
We do the chef thing. You want to try it?
Yeah, sure. If half of this goes on the floor,
that's okay.
No laughing, all right? So I'm just like...
Yeah, just slide it to the front and then let it come back. Look at that! Look at you!
One and done. I did it correctly.
Yeah, you don't want to mess. You don't want to try again
because
it looks like cheesesteak at this point. Oh, you know what I did forget to do, and I'm kicking myself now, is season the meat. So if you're doing this at home, season the meat, because you should totally season. I do have salt and pepper sitting right here, but I got in our conversation.
We were distracted by stories of rock and roll.
And embezzlement.
So let me tell you my story. So I did not grow up wanting to be on TV necessarily, or in news, or definitely not weather. It wasn't something that was on my radar screen. I mentioned that I did acting as a kid when I was in school. My parents sort of put me into a position where I could interview with a bunch of people who got me an agent in New York.
Okay.
So I was an actor for a while, and then it was getting to be time where I'm coming out of high school, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I'd gotten into Temple. I knew I was going to do a couple of years at Temple, and then see if I carry the acting thing.
Did you start out communications at Temple?
Radio, television, and film production, behind the scenes stuff. And then I got into a band. So the year after high school, I was in a band too, but it was more of just like a weekend cover band type stuff. What did you play, by the way?
Guitar.
I was bass.
No, well,
And I actually was in California, like trying out acting out there the summer before while the band was here rehearsing. And the guitar player, lead guy, basically would just send me like the songs that we're going to play, and on the flip side of the cassette back then, if you know what those are.
right. We
The
recorded
bass
our
line.
first thing on a 4-track.
He'd just play the bass line on a guitar, and I'd just sit there and mimic it.
And mimic it,
and
right.
About 2 weeks before our first job, I flew back to Philadelphia and plugged in, and they were like, thank God we got a bass player, and I actually knew the stuff. So that's how I did the band, but it was only about a year. But it's funny that you and I both had that same track.
If we weren't so busy, we could get a band going now, right?
Right. And when I got back to Temple, then I really needed to get serious. I was tired of the acting stuff. I'd come close so many times and not really broken
Right.
through. I said, I want to get married and have a regular life at some point, so let's get a regular
It's time
job.
to do that, right?
And the
Settle
journalism
down.
courses, because of my dad and my love of writing, just felt right. And even then, I was a little like, I'm getting out of one competitive thing and into another. But the professors over there at Annenberg Hall were basically like, you're built for this, do it. And so I
That's
did.
awesome.
Yeah. So it was really, Temple had like, I met my wife here, I got my career out of this place, and now I get to come back and eat good cooking. So
Your
it's
kids
great.
going here, like, this
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah, it's
You're Temple made for sure.
Yep. Yeah, no, I really love the school. I've always been real happy with my experience here, that's for sure. Oh, we're going to put a fork in the omelet, apparently.
No, we're not. I'm not going to use the fork this
Turn
time.
the fork in the road there. That would be an interesting addition of thanks.
Hope.
An ingredient. That's what I was looking for. Don't forget the
I think it would
plastic
melt
fork.
too because I believe it's made from cornstarch because we use every.
Scientist you are.
No, well, all of our this is compostable. Like everything is made so that within a very short amount of time it'll go back to the earth, so that we don't use.
good.
We don't. That's.
Good for
probably
you.
was just like that when you were here, right? I mean, it was.
They were starting to talk about those things.
It was. What was that
I remember
movie?
when I was a kid, I lived near the Darby Creek, and like for a while there was crayfish and stuff along the
Right.
banks, and then like there was nothing living down there, and that was like in the 70s. And then we started getting a little bit better about stuff like that in the late 70s, 80s, and like now they stock it with fish. So,
Can you eat it though?
oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I know, I know a lot of people that fish around here, and it's like, until you get past like the Chesapeake, it seems like you're not supposed to eat more than like one fish a year if you get it
There's
from this
certain
area.
types of fish, like catfish, that are bottom feeders. You're not supposed to, because the stuff.
The mercury, I think they
silt
get
and
too
stuff
much,
is-
yeah.
Right, it's still down the bottom, but you can fish shad out of the Delaware River, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I know that
things get
shad's
better.
like a big deal, like around here too. Like they have like the big run and
Shad
you-
Festival.
Right, the
Yeah.
Shad Festival,
Easton, I
exactly.
think, yeah, I worked in Allentown for a while, and I covered that a couple times. So, yes, shad.
Do you have any great stories of people you interviewed or whatever that were just crazy without saying their names? Or say their names, I don't care.
I mean, nobody remembers this.
Because you
in this
seem completely
generation.
normal, you know what I mean? Like, for someone that's on TV every day, like you seem like a very normal person. You
I
don't
really
seem like.
I like. Thank you. I try to be. I don't see the point in not being normal. Anyway, so the Phillies were in the World Series in Toronto, and they lost the World Series in Game 6. Joe Carter home run, and the guy who threw the pitch was Mitch Williams,
Wild man.
who did exactly the wrong thing. He put it low and inside, blah, blah, blah. So there's people like calling his house and giving
Death
him
threats, right,
and all
it was
this.
bad.
So he got on a plane and goes straight to the middle of nowhere, Texas, and we tracked him down. And one of my
To interview him?
Yes. And one of my favorite stories was flying down. I found out late in the day, you're getting on a plane, you're going, and photographer, we get on a plane, we go. And the directions that he gave us was like, go 2 miles past Hyco, Texas, and you'll get on this dark road and count the fence posts. And at the end of the second break,
Texas.
and then it's like go between these two things and drive for a mile. And there's nothing. It's
Right.
stars and like sagebrush.
The third
going
big
by.
tree or.
And we're lost. And the time, we're on the clock. We had like 45 minutes to do this guy and then get back and feed the tape back to get it back
Right.
to the 11. And sure enough, there's a fence that comes up out of the darkness, and it's got a metal plaque on it with his 99 and the Phillies writing, so we knew we were there.
Right.
So I interviewed him, and he was just
He didn't
funny.
curse you out or anything.
No, he was like, it's
He's like,
okay,
I'm
man.
safe here now.
People get upset. I'm like, well, you sad about throwing the pitch? Nah, it's just bad pitch, low and inside. And I kind of got the idea.
That's
that
awesome.
The guy was going to be okay.
Yeah.
That was a fun story, though.
That's awesome, because you don't, like I said, I'd be worried that he'd be pulling a shotgun out on me. I mean, he's in Texas now. Who knows?
Well, no,
who knows how quickly he learned how to use a shotgun
We
in you're in
called
Texas,
him,
right?
and he said it was okay. So yeah. But
You
that was
never,
fun.
you never surprised anybody over your years, did you?
I mean, there's some people you had to. I did my my share of.
You're in
Hi,
this-
I'm from Action News. How come this happened, and what do you think? And I had some doors slammed in my face. I actually wasn't that much fun.
No.
I really like doing the weather better. The weather.
It's a lot safer. I mean, sure you don't get any no one curses you out online or anything about the weather. Like I said, everybody seems to love you, right?
Not too often, you know, every now and then you get a hot ad, but not too often. Yeah, we try and, most people understand that the few times it doesn't work exactly right, that, you know, it is weather and you're kind of dealing with a, you know, a thing. 6 was really nice, though. When they wanted me to transition to weather, we didn't really have meteorologists at the time, but I said I really wanted to learn it, and they paid for 4 years.
And that's when you went to school to do that.
Yeah, yeah. So
I feel like that's a underappreciated science. Like, I feel like people assume that if you're a meteorologist that you are one of the 10 people that go on TV, and not the probably thousands and thousands of people that work behind the scenes that gather all this information as well for you to use, right?
I'm a broadcast meteorologist. Those guys are operational meteorologists, the women and the guys at National Weather Service and the people who are at universities who put together the weather models and all of that.
Right. That seems like
Beyond my
a whole nother,
you know.
a whole nother thing.
Yeah, it's great what they do.
So I'm just trying to pull in the sides. The pan's a little smaller than I expected it to be, but that's
okay.
my fault because that's the pan I chose.
I think you're
It's the newest pan, so it literally nothing should stick to it, I'm hoping.
It's looking pretty good.
So far, so good, right? If you're at home and you just grab a thing, this is actually a high heat spatula. If you use a regular spatula, it's just going to start melting. Yeah, don't do that. Just in case that ever comes up. This is.
It feels heavy too. I don't know if that's a way to tell, but it seems like it's made of real solid material.
I find the best way to tell that it's a high heat spatula is when you look on the package when you buy it and it says,
It says high heat.
or you know, silicone, or you can go up to 500 degrees. You know what I mean? Something that's usually my best guess. That's a sure thing.
This is very good. You're obviously good at omelets.
No,
No, you said that you weren't. But look
I'm
at this.
totally
This is
not.
looking
This
like
is-
an omelet.
looks omelet-esque.
Looks like an omelet, right? It smells like one too.
I feel like it should be
Smell from
thinner,
over
but-
there, it smells like one.
Okay, so what? I'm gonna try to flip it because I like to make sure my eggs are fully cooked. I'm not a fan of uncooked eggs.
There's a nice flip.
Look at that.
Oh, and there comes the stuff.
We'll put the stuff in the
Peppers
center.
And the onion in there and all of that.
We gotta slap some cheese in there.
Stick some cheese in there, absolutely. It's gonna moisten things up a bit too, probably, right?
Yeah, because you think I overcooked the meat and it's dry. You're probably right.
No, I'm just saying. It's it's a good addition. Oh, look at that. Flipping
That thing's way bigger than I expected too. This is a serious omelet. Like this is diner omelet here.
Yeah. This is like, wow. Go back to that place because the omelets are like,
They're huge. All right, so I'm pretty sure that's done. I don't want to really burn the crap out of it if I can avoid that.
You try not to.
I got us our fancy plates and
Oh yeah, thank you. Biodegradable. I'm
But-
happy
right,
with this.
yeah, see?
Get your forks out of the way, or we're gonna have that fork in the road thing going on.
Fork in the road.
Now seriously, this does look fantastic.
I hope so.
Ugh.
So we got, I cut it. I'll give you a little extra meat there.
Thank you.
And part of the reason so you could actually see the filling coming out of there. It's very full of stuff, I'm hoping.
That's good.
One of the things I thought of, and this is the drive-in, but I didn't have the bread here, is this would be great to actually make like a cheesesteak. Like on a roll to slap the thing in there and fill it up, and maybe even throw some ketchup on it if you're into that kind of thing. I'm not sure.
Now, if you were my dad, he would definitely put ketchup on this.
I was just gonna, you're not a ketchup person?
For certain things, but not this.
Now watch me spill this everywhere. I won't let you pour this just because you were.
Really looks good, and it smells good too. Yeah, thank you.
See, because even then, you see I'm making a mess.
I
don't have a pour spout for this stuff.
There you go.
Okay, so we have our fresh hot chocolate, a little bit of a mess, that's yours.
And it's a nice winter morning here, so that's good.
Hopefully, yeah. Here, you know what? This is a little bit cleaner cup. I'll let you have that one.
Okay.
Since you got to keep working after this, and I can clean up a lot easier.
Again, I have a professional apron on, so I'm good. All right, so we
So let's try it and see if this is Philly cheesesteak-ish.
Ready? Oh, let me get
Trying to get all of it, it's hard, yeah.
Mmm. Oh, that's pretty good.
That actually worked out pretty good.
Yeah, it did.
I'm happy with that.
And I'm liking the little onion and the little green pepper thing going on.
Because you can
actually.
taste it in there.
I can. Oh.
I still forgot to season it. So I should have seasoned the egg too. So a real chef would have seasoned everything. That's how you know I'm a baker.
Ah, right. Well, you did say that.
I did say that. And of course the hot chocolate.
Oh, yeah. Here.
Cheers.
Yeah, here we go.
Don't burn yourself on
Cheers, Chef Dave. That's good.
it. That's some good hot
That
chocolate.
tastes like a Hershey chocolate bar right there. It doesn't taste like powder came about it.
Well, actually the chocolate,
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, the chocolate chips I use, they're Kubicher chips. We actually get them from Switzerland.
Really?
So it might even, I might almost be insulted that you said it tastes like a Hershey chocolate bar.
Well,
I'm not. I'm just saying I could be if
did
I
you
was.
ever read that book about Hershey chocolate versus Chocolate Wars. It was when it's a good book. It's I read it
Check
like
it out
4 or
now.
5 years ago. It's the story of Hershey and Mars, I think, and how they sort
Oh
of
yeah,
go at
yeah.
each
That's
other.
an interesting story. I have seen a little bit about
It
that.
explained to you why Hershey's chocolate tastes different, and also why people in Europe usually don't like it, because it's sort of like more of a lighter, milky chocolate instead of that dark chocolate.
Right, right, right.
It's all because of the cows out in Hershey eating that grass that grows there.
Really?
And it gives the chocolate a certain flavor, and it made me appreciate why I think I like Hershey chocolate so much, because I grew up on it, and
Right.
it is different than other
It
chocolates.
is definitely different.
9 out of 10 people would probably say you'd rather have the dark chocolate, but I really like the Hershey's milk.
I mean, they have a dark chocolate.
and it's
not
kind of
bad.
like Temple. I'm from here, Temple's here, it's Hershey's here, you know.
Hershey's here.
Anyway, but didn't mean to insult you.
No, you didn't insult
It
me. I didn't
tastes
actually
like-
make the.
This tastes like it has actual great chocolate.
It does. Well,
That is good.
again, thanks for coming out.
Thank you very
This
much.
was
Chef
super
Dave.
fun.
Yeah.
You're welcome anytime, obviously. Hang
Okay.
out at Temple anytime you want to stop by. Give me a call.
I'm here a lot. Yeah. Next time maybe I'll say, hey, you know what? Let's get some.
Let's get some cupcakes over at the
Yeah,
diner
right.
or something, right? We do all the pastries for the whole campus. So
Wow.
your son might not know me, but he's definitely tasted something I've made before. Probably.
I'm going to talk to him about it. I absolutely will.
Find out what's going on. So
yeah.
again, thanks for coming out. This was
Okay, cool.
awesome.
This was fun.
Thank you for joining us here on Baker Dave Presents. A special thanks to David Murphy for his delicious cheesesteak omelet and hot chocolate. I love that he's a fellow rocker as well. Join us again next time on Baker Dave Presents. And remember, every recipe has a story.